Da, 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 da. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Side Jag, the show where we talk about movies, food, entertainment, trips, and all kinds of nonsense. How have you been, man?
Been good. Been
Yeah,
good. I got some sunburn, if you can't tell.
I can tell. I can tell.
Oh,
Pasty,
well,
pasty white guy problems for sure.
wearing the sunglasses a little too much.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I try to I had them all week in California, but I
Yeah,
ended up just wearing a hat because I hate taking them on and off, and I don't have transitions,
yeah,
so it was driving me nuts. I was like, screw it. So, oh well.
yeah, yeah. I'd had both. I had the hat and the
Yeah,
glasses.
yeah. I can usually do pretty well with just having the hat. I mean, these
Right,
have UV in them, so it won't make it impossible to see.
right.
But yeah, sunglasses would have been nice. But I was having to keep doing this, and I was like, all right, I've had enough. So I just pulled my hat down like really low.
There you go.
You know,
You fit right
I
in California then. Look like you're trying to rob someplace.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to rob Disney. I mean, they're robbing you when you walk in the door, so it's all good. But RC Cola.
Dude, look at this.
That is some
Harry.
very RC Cola. You got the classic.
Yeah, that's why I was so dehydrated when coming here. You might say I drank like 1.5 bottles of water.
Wow.
So I figured that was enough to go ahead and justify drinking an RC.
I mean, hey, you gotta get the liquids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who'd go to Iowa? Why would you go to Iowa?
So,
Don't get me wrong. I know we got a friend there, Iowa Mike, and he would probably show us around and give us a good time. But you know, it's
yeah.
yeah. I mean, he would love to have us. I know he would, but it's like, nah, Cali.
Yeah.
And we took Sebastian Fernando's son with us, and I felt bad for him for the first half of the trip because it was all like work stuff,
Right.
and he just like had to deal with that crap. And then we were like, hey, surprise, we're taking you to Disneyland. And he was like, oh my God. So like the last 3 days was just like the best ever.
That dude, every time like surprise Disney trip for kids, you know what it reminds me of? The little girl, she's got the purple shirt on sitting in her car seat and she just darting her eyes back and forth, not saying anything.
Right.
That meme came from a Disney surprise Disney trip.
Oh,
Like
really?
her sister's freaking out and she just sitting there like
Yeah, this is fake. Till I see Mickey, this is all.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that was cool, because he's at the age where like all this shit is just like this is the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
And we had
Was it your
3 days
first time to California Adventures
for
Disney?
me. No,
Yeah.
his yes, me no. Fernando Sebastian, first time they ever done Disney ever. Disney is an hour and 45 minutes that way.
Right.
We have to fly all the way out to California so we could go to Disney.
Right.
And yeah, it was crazy. And the really screwed up thing is like the flight out, I was like, I'm flying first class. I don't give a shit.
Dude, I'm flying first class in August. It's gonna be my first time. I'm excited.
Yeah. And so we flew out first class. So this is literally the second plane this guy's. He's only flown twice, and I bought him tickets both times. It's kind of amazing. so we flew out first class. So
Yeah.
like he's
he probably laid sideways in the seat.
He did. He laid sideways on the seat and took a nap. I was like, bro, you suck.
You ruined him though.
Oh, totally ruined him. So then on the way back, we were flying from John Wayne to Phoenix. So it's like an hour flight. So first class tickets on that were like cheap as shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do that because our connecting flight was only 45 minutes. So I was like, if we fly first class, we'll be off the plane really quick. Phoenix is a big airport, and they don't shuttle you over to the other side. They have walking, and they were broken last time we were there, or they're refurbishing them. So I was like, we're gonna need to move. So it was like, and then it turns out our flight got delayed.
Nice.
A lot. So it was like an hour and 30 minutes delayed. So it's like, all right, well, we got plenty of time to walk now. So
yeah,
So then the road.
Did you get access to the lounge, the first class lounge, since
No,
you were?
they don't give you that shit. No, that's the whole. That's no.
Man,
that's the Admirals Club, my friend. You have to pay to be an Admirals member or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. Just because you bought first class tickets doesn't mean you get the lounge.
Well, they have that like in Dallas. They have a first class. You can get in first class lounge. I was looking on my ticket because if you fly to Fort Smith, you're going to Dallas no matter what.
Yeah.
And but I literally I land and I have 45 minutes to get to the plane. So
that was our plan too. But on the way out, it didn't work out that way. So we ended up staying in Dallas for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That was or an hour. Yeah, an hour. I don't know. We ended up staying there a little way longer than we were supposed to. So that kind of sucked.
House sucks.
Yeah.
The airport sucks.
Yeah, it does. And you know, when you land in like A and then you got to take out of like the other side of the
you got to get Uber. You got to get Uber.
Basically. Or hop on, as I like to call it, the roller coaster that they have.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I always like, Jesus, why are we going so fast?
I always love the people that have never been on there.
Yeah,
and they don't know what to expect. And it's just like,
yeah.
I've literally seen people fly back and fall down.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
And I
hold
like
the handrails.
Like
yeah. Please hold the handrails is not a suggestion. Yeah. It's a mandatory thing. But no, so the flights were fun. That was cool, you know. Whatever. We were talking about it because it was like I don't know what it is about like COVID. Our flights were always on time. Right. We never had a missed flight. Everything worked great. Now there's no COVID. I can't get a plane to leave at the right time, like at all. Like it's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's like, guys, like everybody's working. How is it that you're always fucked up?
Yeah.
Like it's so bad.
It always happens to me in Dallas for whatever reason. It happened to Atlanta just this last flight I took. It was delayed slightly, but it wasn't much.
Yeah. I mean, I love the airport. I love flying. I love everything about it. I enjoy it immensely. Like to me, it's like I can't wait to go on another freaking airplane. I love the whole airport rigmarole, and like I can sleep on the plane. It's just the whole experience is joyful for me. I find I enjoy it more solitary than anything. Like, it's like when because like Sue's sleeping on my shoulder, and I'm like stop.
See, I'm the opposite of everything. Like I hate it. I don't like. I'm not scared of the flight. I just hate like breathing in other people's air in that enclosed space for that long.
So the only thing I don't want to do is talk to the person sitting next to me. Like I don't want to get to know. Like this flight,
they always want to talk, man. Especially if you're by yourself, they want to talk.
So the person that was sitting next to me in first class, because there was 5 of us, so everyone I took the solo seat. And the lady that sat next to me was a lunatic. She was on her way to Washington D.C. because she's from California, and they're trying to lobby. They're filling out the paperwork to have California split into 2 states.
Oh my God!
Again, one more time. And I said to her, like, I thought you guys already tried this. They're going to split it into 4 states. Oh, that was this is so. And she's explaining to me how we're doing, and I'm like, this was the most like. Whoa, person ever. Like some dude walked on
money on this flight because that's never happening.
Yeah, I had my headphones out, so like the first opportunity I got, I put my headphones on, and like, I just don't want to be bothered with this.
I don't want to talk to you in general. I especially do not want to talk about. I don't want to hear about your politics. I don't want to tell you about my politics.
Oh man, and she was, dude. It was nuts, man.
Man,
they have the plan for New California, and I'm just like
so apparently you guys have been watching the Fallout show because that's the only way that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And that was it, man. It was just like
that's it's the same with like the states that threaten that the most are Texas and California, Yeah. And it's like, listen, Texas, California, Florida, New York. That's the biggest money-making states in all of the this is where the majority of the income for the federal government comes from.
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening. Like, you can say what you want to do, but it's not happening.
No, and it wasn't like they want to succeed from the union.
Yeah.
It was like they just want to split it into 2 states so that they're not responsible for paying. So it's basically the rich people going, we're tired of paying for all the poorer, lower income people. We want our own little like expensive little state to live in. And I'm like,
you know what everyone else did? They just moved to Texas or Florida. Why don't you just do that?
Well, that's what she said. I don't, because she says everyone moves to Florida. I go, I know.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
I don't want to do that. I want to stay in California. I said, I want you to too.
We're like, so yeah. I can, this why I can't talk to people.
No, I didn't want to talk to her. And like I said, the first opportunity I had, I was like, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. Anyways, crazy flights. Just to let everybody know, like, the coolest thing happened. The people that wrote and directed the Gene Wilder show that we watched.
I think I took a picture of that.
Yeah, because they watched our show and were like, they appreciated the nice things we said about it, which why would we not? Because it was a fantastic show. Yeah.
There's a pretty lengthy comment there.
Yeah, and they explained, because one of the questions we had was, where did they get the audio for it? And as it turns out, it was from a book that he did a book on tape for, and they were able to extract the audio from that to make the documentary. And I guess that was abundantly clear in the movie release of it, but Netflix, of course, shaved all that crap off.
Right. Leaving us confused as to what was going on.
Yeah, which was kind of shitty on Netflix's part. Go figure.
Right.
But I'm sure they got paid well. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it didn't. It was like one small thing we could find. It wasn't even something wrong with it. It was
it was just weird because it was like, how did they do that?
Right, because we thought it was AI or something, but we love the documentary. We love a lot of documentaries. You could tell us about yarn, like some kind of yarn competition,
as long as there's something dirty about it,
and there's some kind of story. We just need a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can have the B plot. If you had a B plot, that's great, as long as as long as it threads back in.
All right. So, in that note, what have you watched?
Dude, I have watched nothing.
Really? Nothing on the plane? Nothing?
Dude, I'm not even caught up on House of the Dragon or The Boys. So,
as it turns out, the girls got new phones. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And which is great, but apparently Verizon or AT&T sold HBO. And so in doing so, we were grandfathered in as long as we kept the contract we had. But for some reason, the contract had to be changed.
You don't get HBO for free?
We no longer have HBO. And I was fucking pissed. I was like, and you know how the phone companies are. As soon as they change something, it's like, okay, go back.
Yeah, you're done.
And I'm like, you motherfuckers. Like,
especially because that's one of the few ones. Like, if I had to start narrowing them down, I would keep HBO.
I don't really watch HBO that much. Like, there's very little on it that I watch, which pisses me off because I don't want to pay for it just to watch the dragon stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of really not happy at the moment about it. So, but hey, whatever. Cheery. Yeah. So,
I get to pay.
I did watch a couple things on the flight that you may have already seen. Did you see the new Ghostbusters?
No, Frozen Kingdom. That's what I wanted to see, but
I got about halfway through it and was like, I can't watch this anymore.
Oh yeah. Did you like the one that was before it?
I mean, it was entertaining, but like this one just got really stupid really fast.
Well, so did the other one, but
this one got
a little bit
stupid.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. So I started watching on the plane and then I stopped watching it on the plane because I was like, I can't take this anymore. This is really dumb. And then the only other one I watched was Operation Fortune, which is the most recent, apparently, Jason Statham movie, which I didn't even know had come out. And it was okay. It was a Jason Statham movie, so it was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Other than that, so I watched The Three Caballeros.
What?
Yeah. So Donald Duck, the original, release of The Three Caballeros.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why I was like, feeling Disney-ish, so I downloaded it so I could watch it on the plane back.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember ever watching it. And I was like, I'm gonna watch that. And then I watched because Cars Land was a big hit, and so I watched Cars 3 because I never watched it. I only watched 1 and 2, and I was like, I've never watched Cars 3. And Haley goes, "What?" It's like, yeah. She's like, dude, like 1, great, 2, crap, 3, back to greatness. She's got to watch it. I said, all right, I'll watch it on the plane. So I watched Cars on the plane.
I had downloaded, I think I downloaded a bunch, but I did not watch any of them. And I one that I did watch, I rewatched the Fast and Furious one. That's just like one that I can lay on my side, watch on my phone, fall asleep, and it's fine. Because I know everything that happens.
Everything that happens. I do that with Harry Potter. What's up?
Yo, what's up?
The only thing playing in Tiana's dad's house was Gunsmoke and Fox News. I've been there, man. I've been there. That was Sue's grandfather when he was alive. If you went to his house, the only thing playing was Fox News, man. That was it. Like, and one time he left the room and we changed the channel and he came back in and was like, "What the? I think. Oh my gosh!" We're like, "What's wrong?" He was, I think the lightning changed the channel. That's exactly what. Where's the remote? Has anybody seen the remote? We got to get Fox News back on.
I can't watch any cable news. It's just so. It's the most fear-mongering stuff I ever seen in my life.
And there's not enough of it to make it worth watching.
Yeah, and it's like I watch local news, even though it's ridiculous, but they tell you the weather, like, hey, the traffic's down here, lightning struck here last night, whatever it is.
But yeah, just local shit.
I do that when I wake up in the morning, and that's it.
Yeah. Now we did watch Starship Troopers while we were in California.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was just like Brian turned it on and we watched Starship Troopers. I was like, oh, I haven't watched this in a long time.
That's a banger. That one.
It is a classic. It is a classic. Like,
it's ridiculous and it's really a sucky movie, but
just what you could do back then with the movie. Like that was right at the height of just blow his arm off. Okay, cool.
You know what we did watch on the cruise ship?
What's that?
Super Mario Brothers. It was only the second time that I'd seen it, and man, that is a legitimately great movie.
The newest one with the dragon, or with the what's his name as the bad guy, Peaches.
Black.
Yeah, Peaches. Yeah. I think we watched it with the kids, so I didn't really get to like focus on it, but I remember enjoying it.
Yeah, and we watched it the second time. I was like, this is I enjoyed it the first time, I think. Just because it was like an actual good Super Mario movie comparatively.
Compared to what's been out before.
Right, which is the original John Leguizamo.
Crap.
Yeah. So, and I was watching it again. I was like, this is legitimately just a good movie.
Yeah. The only other thing I watched was the episode 6 of The Acolyte. So I watched 5 and then I watched 6.
Right.
And I've come to the conclusion that it's just Star Wars is dead to me.
It's just still a no recommend.
It's shit. It's just all shit. It's just I don't know if they're making anything past 6. Like I don't know if they made one this week. I really don't care because it's so disappointing. And I mean the reality, like I watch TV one day a week, Friday.
Yeah.
That's it. And sometimes Saturday night if I'm lucky. I mean, to me, the ideal situation would be Sunday night, get done with all my work, sit down in the chair, and watch like an hour of TV before I go to bed. Like that's the goal. Oh, and I did. Oh my gosh. No, you know what I did? I actually got done early. What was it, Tuesday or whatever night? Yeah, it was Monday night because my whole week has been screwed up. And I watched the new Axel Foley on Netflix. Axel F. And F must be for are freaking kidding me? It's horrible. It's barely watchable. Like it is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. I mean, bad, so bad. Like, wow. Like Eddie Murphy, just stop. Like, he was okay in that last movie where he was like the dad
Right, but he wasn't a big part in that either.
Yeah, because he's terrible. He's terrible, and it was like, it was funny because there's a scene in the movie like where he checks into the Hollywood hotel.
Yeah,
and he's like, he tries to do one of his little voices, and he goes, "I'm just too tired to care. You got a room?" And I go, and that's the movie right there. That is 100% the movie. Like,
what's like all the movies? The only Murphy movies I like are Beverly Hills Cop, like the first one, maybe the second one, but after that, like I didn't like Flubber.
The first one was good. The first one was good. The second one was shit. The third one was, oh my god, really? And then this one is just so bad.
Yeah,
like, it's like how they even got actors to act in this movie with them.
Yeah,
it was just like, are you kidding me?
Well, it's like the one where he's the fat guy. I didn't really care for that.
Oh yeah.
But that's different. Raw's different. That was a stand-up. That was like,
no, that's fantastic. But that was at the height of Eddie Murphy.
Right, yeah.
And Delirious and Raw are two benchmarks of, and there again, Beverly Hills Cop 1, fantastic movie.
Right.
Fantastic movie. He's done some fantastic stuff. Perfect Strangers or whatever it was with Dan Aykroyd. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
He's done great stuff. This was not. This was like bad. The whole thing was bad.
When his career ended, it ended for a reason because he'd done a lot of movies. Like Flubber was popular because of kids, but they just got progressively worse.
Yeah,
he was just more of a joke as it went on.
Yeah, this was like, please stop.
Yeah.
The last accolade is mostly a repeat of a previous episode. I'm not at the hate watching point. Oh, I was at the hate watching point in episode 1.
Wow.
So, Trading Places. Thank you.
Yeah,
Trading Places was good. That was a good one. But no, that was terrible. So then the other movie I watched was Godzilla -1, which is it's on Netflix. It's a Japanese dub. It's a new movie.
Yeah.
It's a newer movie. And it's basically like exactly that. Like, where did Godzilla come from? And how did he get to the point where he was at?
Right.
And it's all shot from the perception of, it starts with a kamikaze pilot that doesn't want to kill himself,
right,
landing on one of these islands that was a repair center and going, hey, there's something wrong with my plane. And then all hell breaks loose. And it's just like the story of this guy and his direct relation to Godzilla. And it was all dubbed, which was like, oh my god, here comes Godzilla. And you're like, but it was good.
I don't mind dub. I've watched so many like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, I typically hate dubs, but
yeah,
-1 was good. I liked it better than I liked Eddie Murphy, and that might have been the thing. It was like it was actually not bad. It was not bad. It was, it was a Godzilla movie. So
I watched Kong versus Godzilla on the they show the boat movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it. Didn't have good sound, but I knew what was going on. Like I already seen.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was another one I watched.
Yeah, I mean it's Godzilla. It's like whatever, man. Just
another. They were playing a movie I legitimately wanted to see. It's Bob Marley, One Love.
Oh yeah,
where they tell about his life. But here's the issue with that. You know how it is on a boat. Like you're trying to watch a new movie you hadn't seen. Like the sound's not great. They have Jamaican accents, which makes it hard to understand.
Right.
The subtitles on the boat were in Spanish because we're going to Mexico. Right. So it's like if they had American subtitles, I would have been able to. And Cassie was like, she's already, she already can't hear anyways.
Right.
So her not being able to do the stuff, I was like, you know what, let's stop. We watched about 30 minutes of it. I was like, it looks great. I don't understand a word they're saying. So let's just wait and we'll watch it at home and see how it is.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the extent. We watched, there's Gene Wilder and Silver something. Oh, I can't think of the name of it. Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Silver Streak.
Silver Streak. Yeah, we watched Silver Streak part of it. It happened to be on one of the channels.
Nice.
So hadn't seen that forever.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you know what else came on? Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Because Cassie was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And I'm looking. It was in the middle. I was like, "I think it's Alita Battle Angel." And then it goes through, and it's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, it's definitely Alita Battle Angel." So I think that was the first time she watched it, and she actually liked it. So,
dude, I watched that. It's in one of my folders that I always have on and I watched on a plane a couple of flights back, just because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch this again. And it's a solid flick, man. Like, the story's good, the action, it's just a good movie. Like, it doesn't suck, you know. And it's weird because like you look at that and you go, this shouldn't be a great movie, like, but for some reason, it's like it is. It's really good acting.
Yeah. And I saw it on a whim, like before when I first saw it. So,
yeah. No, I set out to see it. I was like, it's sci-fi, baby. I got to watch this. But, you know, you look at it, you look at that and you go, okay, how did that movie be great? But then that other stupid Netflix movie or whatever, Prime movie, what it was, where, you know, that same guy that was in that, you know, played and, you know, with the farms and the spaceships and all that crap. How did that suck so bad?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, sometimes you wonder, like, what makes a movie really good and dude,
expectations part of it, but just depends. Like, they spend a little more money on it. They have a little higher, you know, more recognizable actors, and you're thinking, oh, this should be a lot better than what it is.
Yeah. Like, it's so weird though, you know, because it's like you just look at something, you go like, this should be awesome, and then it sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, like, come on, man, really? Oh, another one. Did I mention I tried to watch the Jessica Alba thing? Oh, that's all right. I know
the other one that I think was the week before last or something like that. Or
yeah, that sucked. But I did watch the J-Lo movie that's out, Atlas.
Okay, I think
on Netflix. Yeah, it's called Atlas. Okay. Not a bad movie.
Really?
Like, you almost forget in the first 10 minutes, you almost forget it's J-Lo. Because she's not J-Lo. She's like a normal person, and she's not like, I'm here to wreck the world. You know, look at my ass. It's none of that shit. It's actually, and there again, it's about AI. But it was good. I was like, I watched on the plane and I got done because Brian was like, actually, he goes, dude, I watched Atlas and I didn't hate it. I was like, really? He goes, yeah. I said, all right, well, I'll watch it on the plane. And it was the first movie I watched on the plane. And I was like, holy shit. Like, it actually had a pretty okay story. Nothing fantastic.
Right.
But you could connect to the story. You could kind of understand where it was going. The acting was very minimal because it was just like, a lot of it was just like her in this suit. The robot made it. Yes, there's the robot. The award goes to the robot that was in it. Like, the guy who played the robot, 100%, like Fro says. It was, you liked him more than anything else.
Right.
And that character made the show like, this is pretty cool. So if you get a chance, I would sit down with the wifey and watch Atlas. It's not a bad one. And it's funny too, because that was really the only non-stinker that I watched this trip that I was like, oh, this is really good, which probably why I don't remember it, because it was like,
yeah, it was decent.
Yeah, it was decent. Yeah, it was funny.
Well, it's like the only TV I watch is if like a show like The Boys is on or the Dragon Show.
Yeah,
like, if that's on, I will sit and watch that, you know, weekly or whatever we choose to watch for this.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I watch basically whatever. If Cassie has something on at night, whatever, put that on. But that's the extent of it right now. So, but I did cruise talk.
Right. Yes.
So the whole time, Hurricane Beryl.
Right.
Is that so? That's going on, and we're talking. Kyle went with us, and he's like, "Well, what they say?" And I was like, "They haven't said anything."
Yeah, because where did you go?
We went to Cozumel.
Okay. So
which was planned to be hit on. It did get hit on Friday. We were gonna be there Saturday, but it was turned into a tropical depression by the time they set power lines down in a few spots and stuff like that.
Right.
So, anyways, we're sailing. We're like, well, I hope it's all good. Weather's good where we're at. We get to Mexico. You can see that there's like some not power lines, but trees and stuff down. And we had to reroute when we take our taxi where we're going. Have a great time there. It's kind of overcast. It still was hot as hell.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. Went, swimming in the ocean, swimming in the pool, doing all that. Get back on the boat, and we're like, all right, cool. We've done our day. Like we got on there at like 3, you have a day, and then you have a full day at sea, Cozumel. Right. 4th day, you have a day at sea to get back. You're going to be there the next morning. I'm like, all right. I wake up no. I don't think we heard this right. So I wake up that next day, and I'm like, all right, this is cool, but I'm kind of ready to be back now. We've already been to Cozumel. I've had a day and a half at sea. Like we're gonna make the best of it. Go see the shows, do all the things we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And about 5 o'clock that evening, hear the captain come over the boat, and the captain has a heavy accent. I don't know what his nationality is, but he had a really heavy accent. And what he said, I couldn't quite understand. And Cassie's like, I think he said we're not going to be at port on Monday. And literally, she's the person that can't hear.
Right.
And I'm like, so I'm like, no, we were playing mini golf. And Kyle's like, no, that's not what he said. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what he said. I think you just misheard what he said or misunderstood what he said. Well, about 10 minutes later, the cruise director gets on, repeats everything the captain said, so it was clear. And they're like, yeah, you're not porting until Tuesday because Galveston was hit hard with the storm and the port is closed.
Right.
So it's like some people might have been happy to get another day at sea for free.
Right.
I'm like, oh shit, like I'm ready to be off this boat right now. So like I was just suffering today out, and Kyle even worse than me,
Dude,
and,
I could not travel with you.
And I'm like, all right. But I'm not freaking out. It's like, hey, like there's literally nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
So
I would be one of those people going, sounds good to me.
So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta, text the plant manager, let them know I'm not gonna be here and all this stuff. And and Cassie has to do the same. But I'm like, all right, we're just gonna make the best of it. We can, we're just gonna enjoy the things, get the food, do whatever.
Yeah.
So we pretty much lounged around, and they didn't have here's the part. That day they didn't have a lot of activities going on because
they weren't planning for it.
They weren't planning for it. So we lounged around the pool, hung out at the pool for a while, and done a few things here and there. And that night we hear another announcement with the captain. This time I'm like, I can't understand what he said. Cruise director comes on. Actually, we're not going to be able to port at 7 a.m. because the Marine Corps of Engineers has to come inspect the port before anybody can land in it. And they're like, the earliest that will be done or can be done is 1 p.m. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like, gets upgraded to 2 p.m., 3 p.m. And mind you, we didn't fly, which is a good and a bad thing. But the good part of it is we didn't have to arrange our flights or change anything.
Yeah.
The bad part is we parked 2 cars at the port.
Yeah.
It was completely flooded in Galveston. What we were seeing, we couldn't get direct. We looked everywhere to try to get direct information where we were parked, how it was. We're on the port, and I'm seeing portions of Galveston completely flooded. So I'm like, one of them's the Prius with the battery. Like, if it gets flooded, it's done.
Right.
And one's Cassie's new car.
Right.
I'm like,
you guys in a parking garage?
No. They do the covered parking. They don't have a parking garage levels. They only have flat land, and even the covered parking was taken. So we were out in the open. So the whole time, I'm like, okay, great. Like, if this happens, now like Cassie's got to be back at work Monday. I could have took another day. No
You're
problem.
spiraling.
Yeah, but so I'm thinking like, damn, if we're gonna have to rent a car and then come back on the weekend and get your car or figure out the insurance, what's gonna happen. Luckily, we avoided that. We got out of there about 3:15 in the afternoon. It's a 9-hour drive back home.
But your cars were fine.
But the cars were fine. Like, I don't know how this happened. The cars were absolutely fine. You could tell that it might have got flooded up about this high on the wheels because the bottom of the brake caliper was rusty.
Oh, okay.
All the way around. It's like, all right, so it didn't even get. And I'm like, first thing I'm like, check and see if the floor is wet. So, and then we talked to people like, yeah, it didn't flood here. But I guess they designed it on a hill or a slope or whatever.
Yeah.
We just got 100%.
Very fortunate.
So we get out and drive. All the power's out in Houston. No gas. Everyone's it's World War III. Everyone's getting gas for their generators.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we have a small gas tank on that Mercedes and a small gas tank on the Prius. But Kyle and them had got off before us. So like, you guys go ahead and go. We'll catch up with you because Kyle had to be at work earlier than anybody else.
Right.
And but they had like 3/4 of the tank, so they could get it quite a ways.
Yeah.
We had like a third of a tank, maybe ish. And I'm like, all right, well, we got to get out of Houston to find gas. And so we're driving. I'm like, all right, that sign's on. They got power. Pull up, get in line for 10 minutes to get gas. They're out of gas. Lady comes out. It's like, we're out of gas. All right. Drive a little further. No sign. No lights on. No lights on. Lights on. Pull in. No gas. Like, holy shit. Like, we got 58 miles was what it's saying we have on there. And it's unreserved. It's already turned gold. We're in reserve fuel. I was like, I was like, most people have range anxiety with the EV. I was like, we're getting a taste of that right here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell are we going to do if we can't find, I have AAA. I was like, they could probably bring us a couple gallons, but everywhere in Texas is out of gas. So why would they have gas?
Exactly.
So we drive and I see a place with the longest line for gas I've ever seen. And they have like 10 pumps or 10 stations. So 2 pumps on each. So 20. And people were in line probably 1.5 miles down this way. And I didn't know till I came up close, but they were 1.5 miles the other way as well. They're bringing people from 2 sides of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, we got to sit and wait. And at this point, before we got there, it went down to nothing. It had no mileage marker, but it showed a little bitty sliver of orange bar. We get in line, and through the line, about halfway through it, it goes to no bars. It says nothing. The guy's like, should we turn off the AC? And I was like, dude, it's like 110 degrees. So I put it in the auto mode because it'll run off the battery for quite a while, and it'll keep starting itself. We wait there for 1 hour and 15 minutes to pump gas. And on top of that, I was going to put whatever gas they had there in it.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to do 91 minimum.
Right. Yeah. You didn't care.
Yeah. And I was like, whatever, we'll put 88. And if it messes something up, it messes something up. But the computer, usually it's okay if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do it every time. But what it turned out, they didn't have any regular gas. They only had mid or the premium or the ultra.
That's fine.
I was like, yeah, it's fine for us, And so while we're waiting in line, we see people. They have they're getting 5-gallon buckets and filling gas in 5-gallon buckets with no lids to take home.
Like paint buckets?
Yeah, like paint buckets.
Oh, fantastic!
Someone had 15 of them, and I'm like, they're gonna run out of gas before we even get up there.
Yeah.
And there were everybody, because it was the only gas station in town. They were literally filling buckets up with no lids.
Wow.
And I was like, they're going to run out of gas and we're going to be fucked. Like, we're just going to have to call AAA to come save us at the gas station. And, but we made it up, filled up on gas. And I was like, hey, we can pretty much make it all the way home on this tank. We only had from that point, I think we had 6.5 hours to drive or 7.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, all right, we'll get to Oklahoma and we'll be able to get gas. So we're cruising. We're back on. Everything's happy again. We're on our way. we're gonna get there at midnight at this point, because the stop or like 12:30. Well, get a call from Kyle. He's like, "Hey, something's going on with the Prius." Like, what do you mean? He's like, "The check engine light's flashing." And I was like, oh, really? I was like, all right, well, turn it off, wait, and drive it again, see if it does it again. So he does that, and about 15 minutes later, it's like done the same thing. We got on the highway. As soon as we got up to 60 miles an hour, it stopped, or the light just started flashing. So I'm sitting there like, oh my god. I'm like, all right, where you guys at? Send us a pin in the chat, and then we'll just route to you. There's 2 paths from Houston to. There's 3 actually, from Houston to our house.
Right.
2 of them, we were on the furthest 2 apart. So he was about 6.5 hours away from where it started acting up, which means we had to drive an hour and 30 minutes sideways, not going up. We were level, basically.
Yeah.
We had to drive an hour and 30 minutes sideways to get to him.
Oh.
And on top of that, I was like, well, I don't know what it is, but I at least need to look at it. I'm not going to be able to walk him through what's going on the phone.
Right.
So we get there, and I'm like, all right, just let me try to drive it. And I drive it slowly. And I noticed, like, all right, I'm up to 60. It's okay. And I know it's kind of got a little shake to it. And I was like, it's like, hey, where'd you get gas? He's like, well, once we realized there wasn't no gas, we got gas at the first place we could see in Houston. Well, I think he got gas with water in it, or bad gas.
Yeah.
So I bought a bottle of the heat, and it's like heat plus the gas cleaner or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Put that in it. We ran a whole thing through that. I ended up driving it. Cassie drove her car.
Right.
And so it was just me and Kyle in the Prius.
Right.
So we drove through a tank of that with that stuff in it, and then I filled it up with premium. So it ended up being fine, but we didn't get home till like 2:20 a.m.
I was gonna say, this just sounds like this just went sideways.
Dude, it was like the vacation on the cruise was so fun from the beginning until they extended it one day, and then it was a little less fun on that last day. But I still had fun. I was swimming, just eating everything in sight. And then that last day, I was like, this was hell. Like, this was the hell day. And Kyle had to be at work at 6 a.m.
Oof.
Because he still works on the floor. Me, I can go in later. So
right.
I went in at like 8 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
I got a few more hours sleep than him. But that was pretty.
That sucks.
That sucked.
Yeah.
I was like, I think you're cursed. And he's like, no, it was all fine until Taylor drove it. So he's blaming on his girlfriend. I was like, oh, but I mean, one of y'all's cursed, I think.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, ours was just delayed flights. I mean, we sat in Arizona till like our flight didn't. Dude, it was so strange. Our flight didn't leave until like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And to like and I'm like, dude, there's a lot of activity in this airport at 1:30 in the morning. Like,
dude,
and then the funny part was when we left John Wayne, they can't fly planes out past a certain time. And so they're like, all right, listen, we're going to board this plane. It was the last plane to leave for the day. So like, listen, we got to get on the plane. We got to get in the air. Otherwise, you're all going to be sitting here. I'm like, hey, that's not on me, bro. Like, we're all set and ready to go. You need to board this fucking plane. I mean,
exactly.
They're like, yeah, because there's noise ordinances. So they can't fly past a certain time. And I'm like, that's on you guys. Like, we got plenty of time. Let's load this plane up. Like, it's sitting right there. What the hell? But so our flight kept getting kicked back. And so we finally got home. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning and on Monday. And I was just like, all right, I literally walked in the door. We dropped off Fernando. I walked in the door, took a shower, and just was like, woke up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I was like, I got to wake up or I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, the girls, like, I think they were up for about an hour. I'm watching TV and shit, and they're just like over there. They fell back asleep, and I'm like, yeah. And then Sue took the next day off, and I'm like, what the hell, man?
Dude, I think women can. I think they can sleep at any time.
Dude, they're bears, bro. They're bears. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy, But no, that sucks, man. Like that's why I don't like to drive, man.
That's the thing that can go bad with the drive. At least with a flight delay, you're in there and you're fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're tired because all you have to do is walk to the spot.
Yes.
And fall asleep. It's
100%. Yeah. Driving is
Well, and when we went up
night,
to
man.
barracks to have the see ya, Jesser. When we had the beach house, we had to fly out like 3 in the morning or something to come back, and dude, it was popping. It was crazy.
Yeah,
there's a little bitty airport too.
Well, we did. So it was funny. Okay, so leaving, we had the first flight out because I was like, let's just get, because I wanted to get to there and start and have the whole day because we were supposed to land at like 10:30, and we ended up landing until like 12:30, which really sucked. But so we found out what time TSA opens. Like we're in line. I'm like, why is there a line? It's like 4:30 in the morning. Why is there a line? Oh, because they don't open until 5. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? And dude, and they're all just standing around like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys suck.
You know what I found out on this trip just randomly? Are you TSA pre-check?
No.
Did you know it's only like $79
for
5 years to do that?
Yeah.
Like I'm 100% gonna do it this week. When I was like, that's only what it costs. Like, yes.
Yeah, it's cheap. And that's why, like, if you look at the TSA pre-check line, that's why sometimes it's longer than the standard line.
Yeah.
No, I'm just waiting for Fernando to get like the paperwork because you need like a current driver. You need like a new driver. I don't know. You need some shit.
The enhanced driver's license, probably.
I don't remember what it was. I looked at it and I was like, because I don't want to get it and him not have it. That would be
what's the point?
Yeah, because
if
honestly,
because Cassie doesn't fly that much, but when she does fly with me, like I'm gonna get it for her too. So we both got it. That way, it's not.
Yeah. But the funny thing is like even like the one thing I've found, because I keep an eye on it, and the one thing I've found is like when the normal line sucks, so is the TSA pre-check line.
Really?
So it's like I'm sure it saves some time, but like not amazing amounts of time. I mean, there are some situations where it's like I'm sure in Orlando International Airport, with that shit show, like it's probably the best thing in the world to have.
Right.
When we've left Dallas before, Dallas was just like ridiculous. Not
that's where I'm thinking, because that's that's my main hub.
So so not Dallas Fort Worth, but the other Dallas, the smaller Dallas.
Love.
So Love, I don't know, dude. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Love.
I've never flown out of Love.
Dude, it's a nice little airport, but goddamn, man, like their TSA there are like some slow in the head people, because it's like you look at the lines and you're like, why is there such a big line? Like it's just like, oh my god, do you have like 2 machines? I mean,
it's the people. It's like they can't follow simple instructions, because it's like the guy's telling you shoots off everything in the bin, nothing.
So here's the problem. So airports don't all have the same machines. All right. So like we know what the machines look like. Okay. And so like when we fly, we like when we're standing in line at TSA, we automatically go, that's the line we need to be in, because that one I don't have to pull shit out of my backpack. So I will wait an extra 5 minutes to get into that line, because I don't want, it's like you have like, it's like, oh, we need a laptop. Oh, I have 2 laptops. That's 2 bins. So I'll have 5 bins. I'm like, all right, what really? Like, and so the worst is when they have the right machine, but they have the wrong trays. And so you're sitting there going, wait, why do I have to pull out my laptop? That's the right machine. And you're like, well, we don't have the trays. And you're like, why in the fuck don't you have the trays?
I've had people when we were on the right machine, and there was like 3 people ahead of me taking all this. It was like, you don't got to do that on this one.
No, and that's the thing. And the TSA guys still there standing there.
Yeah, and they thought,
you don't have to do that.
They didn't tell them. I'm telling the people, so they don't believe me, so they all pull it out. So now the guy tells them, so they all put it back in. It's like, oh my god,
it's just dumb. Well, the other thing too is those machines are slower too. The ones that, because I don't know if the people don't know how to read the machines or what they're doing, but I've noticed that recently those machines that used to be fast are now slow.
They keep tagging me for tripods.
They're just I don't know. They're just
it's like, can I just pull the tripods out so you can see them? It's not a gun.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what you think it is, but yeah.
See, lately we haven't got I haven't any problem getting through. They haven't pulled the bag or anything like that, which is great. But it's just taking forever.
No.
So it's like, all right, well, and it's fine. We get to the airport early because I just like this. It was fun. So the one thing we've noticed that in the last 2 flights is the new machines that they have where they take your picture now. Their database is different than the database they used before. So on Fernando, because he's Latino, they have an extra last name.
Yeah.
That's just stupid. And so he didn't have that on his plane tickets because we've never needed it. And so now, the last trip around, hey, you should really add this to there because you're going to get stopped. And so when we were leaving LA or when we were leaving John Wayne, they were like, yeah, this isn't right. And I was like, what are you talking about? His son and him both have the same name.
Yeah.
So, and on the ticket, it doesn't print everything. And it's so they're like, you need to go over and have this fixed. And so we're like, okay. So we both jump out of line. We go over and get it fixed. And then the lady at American was like, I don't know what he's talking about. It's all right here. It literally says all 3 of your names right here.
Yeah.
It's these guys are stupid. Because, all right, well, let me reset it and put it back in. And so we walk back over there. The guy's, okay, that's better. And I'm like, you're just an old white guy being a prick, bro. I mean, come on, man. Luckily we had time. Yeah. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was God, you're a dick.
Yeah,
because we had a 9:00 flight out, but we got there at 5:30 because I knew it being a small airport, they were going to close all the restaurants and they were going to want food.
Right.
And sure enough, we got there and we walked the whole airport and I said, all right, so you guys want the good news or the bad news? And she's like, good news? I said, the good news is there's still food. Bad news is we got an hour. They're like, what? Yeah, they closed all this stuff. Why would they close all this stuff? I go, because that's what small airports do.
Mm-hmm.
But why? I go, I don't know. Well, if the last flight's at 10, why do they close these places at 7?
Dude, some of these bigger ones, they'll still close them early. It's you have 2 choices on each section.
Well, now they have this self-checkout stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you just walk up, grab what you need, and scan it. I will say that, that works most of the time.
Yeah. I just need a sandwich. If I can find a turkey sandwich, then
that was the bad part is that the self-checkout line, it looked like somebody just went in there and went like this.
Oh, damn.
So all the sandwiches were just kind of I'm like, what happened?
Some little kid, man.
Yeah, it was really weird. And the sandwich was gross, but
well, I didn't get so we can finish on this. I didn't get to talk about Royal Caribbean as a cruise by itself.
Oh, what did you think about it?
I guess it's one of the more popular ones. I like Carnival way better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some of my beef is the food options are way better on Carnival.
Okay.
They'll have main dining and then they'll have little restaurants and they'll have the upgraded restaurants or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep, we ate at one of the upgraded restaurants. Johnny Rocket sucked. The shake was good. That was it. The buffet sucked. The Carnival buffet also sucks, so I'm used to that.
Yeah.
But the difference in this is the main dining room. They had basically all the buffet food with 2 or 3 options that were different than the buffet food.
Really?
So that was kind of the highlight of it. But in Carnival, they had this one. They had Johnny Rockets you had to pay. So only free options was pizza, a sucky pizza place, a hot dog place that wasn't great. And that's it.
Wow.
Literally it besides main dining and buffet.
Ooh.
And then so on Carnival, you have the buffet, which it sucks at lunch and dinner time. Morning time is great. They have all the things you need for breakfast. But they have Guy's Burgers, which is excellent. They have a Mexican place called Blue Agave that's excellent. They had a barbecue place. And they also had a pizza place, which is comparable, sucked as well. But
yeah.
So the food was better on Carnival. Food options were better. The free options were better. The one thing I will say, and we had a pretty good server on Carnival, but the person that made the whole Royal Caribbean experience the best was the server we had for main dining room every night.
Right.
We had the flex. So we went Monday, happened to get like 8:30ish late that night.
Right.
Got a server named Nilesh. And the he was just 100% character, man. You could tell right away. And he's kind of telling us like, hey, this is good, this is not good on the menu. And at first, I think I actually picked a few things that he said was not good, and it was not good. So anyways, we had such a good time with him that first night. And he's like, yeah, if you guys want to book, you can book me like this table every night. You just talk to the people over there at the counter. Like, all right. So we did that. And that was basically the highlight of the cruise every night.
Oh,
he'd come in there and like, he was just telling it is like, don't get this, like these appetizers are good. These ones aren't. This main course is good. These ones aren't. This dessert's good. This one's.
Oh, that's funny.
By the end of the cruise, I'm just like, the last time, like, Nilesh, like, just you tell me what to eat. Like, you have not led me astray yet. You tell me what I should get for everything. So he picked it out, and it was usually the things you couldn't get on buffet.
Right.
And I had an opportunity to eat escargot. I forewent that. I do not want to try snails. Kyle and Taylor did. They said it was good until you got to the aftertaste, basically. So I was not going to try it.
No.
But the one thing, it was like the second to the last night, Kyle's girlfriend, Taylor, she really wanted the coffee custard that they had. And then so now she's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. And he's like, it's got a weird texture thing. Are you sure? She's like, yeah. and he asked more times, like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm going to also bring you the chocolate cake. Or he's like, I'm going to have a chocolate cake ready just in case.
Right.
And like this guy, he was so charismatic that you felt like if you didn't pick the things he was telling you, were going to you didn't want to disappoint him, you know?
Right.
And so you didn't want to disappoint him. And you're like, I want to make him happy. Like he's also helping us by telling us the good things.
Yeah.
So anyways,
working that tip, bro.
She takes 3 bites of that, and you can tell on her face, like
that's
she done fucked up, you know. Like, and he sees from the corner. I laughed the hardest. This one, he comes from the corner. He has that cake with her, and then she goes to say something. He's like, and he sets it down, and dude, we start dying laughing. He takes it away. He doesn't say anything. He just sets the cake down.
Oh,
I was like, dude, we were freaking. I was laughing so hard I was crying.
You know, I totally understand what you're saying. Like those guys, like say it's the same thing. Disney, you automatically get signed a guy. Like you get a guy. This last cruise we did with my mom, you have the main server and then you have the assistant server. And for some reason, we kept getting a different assistant server, which was just screwing everything up.
Oh man,
you're like, okay, like
we got lucky. We got both the same. So
yeah. Well, every other cruise, the other 2 cruises I've been on, it was like that. Right. You always had the same person, and there again, like one cruise we went on, the main guy sucked, but the second person was really good.
Right.
And then another cruise we went on, we got a guy that the people we go cruising with like had before, and they always recommend him, and he was perfect. You know, he did it, and it was just weird because, you know, those guys. I mean, I feel like that's the case, but I will say this about Disney: the food is always the food is not my thing,
right?
But everyone else around me is like, this is the most amazing food ever, and the buffet is good. It's not, but whatever's on the buffet will not be served in the main dining.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how Carnival is. Like you go to the main dining for the good shit.
Yeah, and you don't pay for anything.
You can update, like you can upgrade on Carnival and Royal Caribbean.
They don't even offer that. It's just one price. Disney is one price.
Yeah, because they get $5,000 out of you per person right off the gate.
Bingo, right? Not that bad.
No. I was looking at. I don't know. Disney's not my thing. I found out on this that another gripe I had about Royal Caribbean was there was a lot of adult focused things, but there was a lot of it was very kid focused.
Really?
On a lot of the activities. It was kind of 50-50, and there was way more kids on this.
See that, and that's the thing about Disney is you don't even realize there's kid shit going on.
Yeah.
Because they have their own areas on the boat that like you're not even like the kid areas are so pushed out.
Yeah.
You'll never even see them. You know, like they have a whole hallway that like you can't even use. You don't even realize it's a hallway. You're like, what is that over there? And like that's the kids' hallway. And you're like, oh, you can only access it through the kids. Like they seclude them out so far, so like you don't even know where they're at half the time. And so it's great. And that's why I always laugh because people are like, I don't want to be around a bunch of kids. And it's like, neither do I.
We got on one elevator. Like we didn't have any kids that really annoyed me too much. Besides, they're just everywhere and in the way.
Yeah.
But we got on one elevator where the kid pushed every button. I was like, I walked in, seen that. I stopped the doors from closing. Like, well, I told guys like, come on, we're just walking down the stairs. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. The only time like you see kids is like if you go to the family events.
Yeah.
So like there'll be like a family trivia or a family drawing or coloring or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, and like some of that stuff, but there's so much adult stuff that it's like, and they're in the bars, so it's like there's kids aren't even allowed. It's fantastic, and they'll flat up tell you.
They're like the kids in the bars there.
What's that?
We're doing trivia and stuff. They're like the kids in the bars.
Only for family ones, but they will immediately tell you when it's over. It's like the kids have to leave. If you are not this age, you need to exit now.
They were taking up seats and everything, and I think it's the size of the ship. Like the Royal Caribbean ship was huge compared to the one we went on Carnival, and there were just so many more people that I was like, I like smaller boats better.
Yeah, poor Fro's only getting 3 hours of sleep.
Later, Fro. Get some sleep.
Yeah, it's a but yeah, I mean, so but you had a good time.
Oh yeah, I had a good time for sure.
But you're not interested in doing that.
I won't do Royal Caribbean again. I found like Carnival, I never found myself thinking, just sitting in the room like, kind of bored right now, and there's really nothing that entices me to go.
Right.
Carnival never had that. There wasn't a second where I was sitting there, and if I sit in the room, it's because I need to take a break, and I was tired. Royal Caribbean, it's like there's really nothing going on that I want to do right now.
Right.
Because I will almost do almost all the trivias, but they were sparse, you know. So I was like, well,
I hate, dude. It's so funny because these are like, I hate the trivias.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you need a team.
Turned out I'm terrible at them.
Yeah, you need a team. Gotta have a team.
It was like, so one of them was 70s. I thought I'd do okay at that. I sucked at that. I sucked at the Madonna one. I sucked at the Game of Thrones one.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, yes, because it's the weird shit that you're just like, what?
I'm not that big of a nerd, I guess.
No, you're not. I'm not for Star Wars. They're like, I think it's. You think I do great? I'm like, I have no idea what that is. And they're like, really? I'm
like, I know what the overarching story and what happened, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
Like Sir, what's his name? Gentry was
what?
Flea Bottom. Like they're like, what city was he from inside of King's Landing? I didn't even remember Flea Bottom was a place till they said it.
Yeah. But well, all right.
Do you got a movie pick for?
I do have a it's a documentary.
All right, perfect.
And, it's called Perfect Wife, and it's on Hulu.
Dude, I've been wanting to watch that.
Fantastic.
Yep, Cassie's wanting to watch it as well.
Yeah, Haley wants to watch it, so that'll be. It's a 3-part series, but I'm sure it'll just go by really quick.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good.
Yeah, so let's watch that.
Yeah, the Perfect Wife. Matter of fact, I always have to go back and watch, so I'm gonna write it down.
At least you know it's right at the end.
It'll be like Monday night. Like I gotta watch the movie. I gotta watch the last. Because sometimes we're not consistent when we say it. Sometimes we say it 45 minutes in. Sometimes we say it right at the end.
Yeah, it sucks. We're not good at that.
We're terrible. We're terrible people.
Yes, we are. But thank you for watching our terrible show, and we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you next week.
See you.